Men, ladies, it's good to have you. I know I have a few of you on here tonight. What a privilege. 2022, game on, battle ready. We're in the groove. So I'm fired up about that. Hey, welcome to the call. We are absolutely committed to helping men reach their destinies, for them to be able to go farther than they ever dreamed possible. And so I'm committed to that. As I'm looking at 2022, in business, when we talk about business and life, we're talking about beginning with the end in mind. So we actually go out and say, where do we want to go? And then we back into it. So as we're coming out of 2021 into 2022, I got to thinking, how in the world, men, can we make this our greatest year? How can we make this the year that we don't waste a moment? Now listen, in life, you either have reasons or you have results. You have reasons why you don't. You have reasons why you wished you could have. You have reasons why you wished you should have. Or you have results. Now, all of us have potential. The question tonight is not about potential. Because you know this as well as I do. You don't get paid on your potential. You get paid on your performance. And performance equals results. I want you to write down right now, I am a results-driven person. I am a results-driven person. I want to feel good. I want to make other people feel good. But if you make people feel good before they get their results, you really haven't helped them. Because the reward of winning is that critical. So how do we finish this year? How do we strong? Now, I will tell you, if you're on G5 leadership, I talked about these 5 principles, and you may be saying, Tim, why would you talk about them again? Because tonight I'm going to talk to you about them from kind of the same angle, but a different angle. I don't think we can hear this enough. I know I cannot hear it enough. I know right now I'm looking at my life and saying 2022, at the end of it, December 31st of next year, how will this year be different than 2021? Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Are you setting goals? Right now, on next Sunday, I just talked about how to set godly goals. I'm going to be talking about financial goals. I'm going to be talking about personal goals. Why? Because if you follow men, 100 of them, only 5 men out of 100 will ever set goals. That means tonight on this call, some of you have already set goals. I believe most of you on this call have set goals. But there are some of us that are still trying to decide, what will be my goal? I've got daily goals. I've got hourly goals. I've got weekly goals. I've got monthly goals. I've got yearly goals. I have goals. I sat down with a friend of mine the other day. He's 80 years old, and he was telling me about his 20-year plan, a goal. Without vision, guys, you will not make great decisions. Without vision, do you know what you'll do? You will absolutely, you'll not develop the habits that you need to have. I wish I was sitting right next to you right now, across the table from you, because I would like to know, how are you doing in the area of your habits? Your leadership, your life, your performance, your results are in direct order of your habits. Your thinking habits, your eating habits. You know what I'm talking about. Now, on this call, I want you to know, if you're brand new, I welcome you. I always want to be direct, but I don't ever want to hurt. But I will tell you, one of the habits that a lot of us have that we've got to get rid of is that we're one thing in public and we're another thing in private. Those two have got to come together. So how do I finish strong? Number one, I've got to decide that I will never stop growing. I will never stop growing. What is your growth plan right now? When you look at your life right now, are you growing? Are you growing up? Are you growing out of? When I was a little boy, I wanted to grow up and I wanted to grow out of shoes so I could get some other shoes. In your life right now, are you growing up? Are you growing out? Paul said, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I did childish things. But when I got mature, when I grew up, when I grew out, I put away those childish things. Now, I don't know what childish things are going on in your life. Can I give you some homework in your life right now? Every one of us are battling some kind of childish behavior. If I put play before performance, I'm probably battling childish behavior. Can I tell you, children are a lot of fun. But if you ever marry a child, that's not a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm coming for you tonight. Are you growing up? Are you growing up in your emotions? Are you growing up in your decisions? Are you growing up? Are the things that used to set you back and make you angry and cause you to behave in ways that did not produce the greatness that you know that's inside of you, are you growing out of that? Never stop growing. Are you moody? Grow out of it. So here's what I can tell you. To make the trip to success that you want, you've got to stop not growing. There are ways that you can grow. Number one, I would encourage you to read. What book are you reading right now? I have a lot of friends of mine right now reading a book called Soup by John Gordon. The reason I'm asking guys to read it is most people don't understand about a growing culture. And here's the challenge with culture. It's really hard to describe it because most of culture is not something that you write down on paper. It's an intangible. It's not a spreadsheet. It's not how many calls you make. It's not how many sales you make. It's an intangible. It's the environment that you create that causes your performance and your maturity and your growth to go a whole nother level. I've got a question for you. Do you have people in your life right now that you have opened yourself up to help you stay on target, to stay in growth mode? Or have you decided to settle for comfort over character? I just want to ask you. So, we all have potential, but we've got to grow and develop and step into that growth. In order for you to do that, I want to challenge you tonight to not just receive information into your life. I want to challenge you to start receiving wisdom in your life. There's such a difference between information and wisdom.
Wow.
The book says that it would cost you everything you have. Get it.
Right.
How do you get wisdom? By reading, by listening to podcasts. But believe it or not, the number one greatest way in the world to get wisdom is to get on a call like this, get in a community like this, come into a locker room like this, and get around men and women in your life that are growing. Now, I hope in your home you're growing together, because there's no greater pain in life. Come on, you're going to hear me right now. There's no greater pain in life than when you're growing and somebody else has decided not to.
Right.
When you're changing and somebody else has decided not to. When you're willing to grow into and grow out of yesterday's challenges and yesterday's messes and yesterday's mistakes and yesterday's habits, and somebody else doesn't want to leave. It's what holds a team back. It's what holds companies back. It's what holds businesses back. It's what holds churches back. It's when somebody decides, I'm going to choose comfort over character. So in your life, how many of you would say, I am growing? I'm growing. So here's what I can tell you. Most of us as leaders, and even as married men or people that are dating, are trying to figure out how we can get everybody around us to change. And we don't really focus very much on our personal change. If you want people around you to change, change. Now, that will cause conflict. So you're going to have to learn how to reduce conflict. You're going to have to learn how to make, in your life, relationships more important than issues. Yeah, so we'll put that right there. So the only way to improve the quality of your life is for you to grow. The only way for you to improve the quality of your marriage is for you to grow. Reasons or results? Excuses or results? We've got to decide. Ooh, Tim, you're starting pretty rough the first part of the year. Well, can I tell you, do you want to work 6 months where you're deceived or distracted? Or do you want to start right now putting in the foundation that you can build your house on, your company on, your life on? So I just want to encourage you in your life, the quality of your life and the improvement of your life and the improvement of your family and your finances and even your health is going to be because you personally grow. So homework. What are 5 areas in your life right now that you need to grow in? You need to grow in. Maybe you need to grow out of past. Maybe some of you right now need to grow out of your anger issues. Maybe some of you need to grow out of fear. Maybe some of you need to grow out of procrastinating. Some of us may need to grow in how to be kind and gentle and respectful. Maybe I have some young men on the call tonight that maybe you just need to learn how to be respectful when you're not being respected. Maybe we need to learn and grow into how to deal with authority and understand honor and understand order. Maybe I need to stop running and maybe I need to start changing right now. So, where is it right now that you need to grow in your positive influence in the people around you? Now, I wish I could spend an hour here. I cannot. But I want to tell you, the first place you need to grow more than anywhere else in your positive influence is in your home, in your family. I used to tell my dad, I said, Dad, I'm going to change the world. I am going to change the world. And he goes, why don't you start in your bedroom? Why don't you make your bed? Why don't you get your room in order? And when you master the small things, maybe now you could be trusted with the world. There's nothing, I think, more frustrating in the world than when somebody's trying to tell somebody else to do what they're not doing. The world is full of people that could be fruitful, but they're not, because they produce frustration in people's lives. So I want to encourage you, around G5, we say over and over and over, lead above it. Hey, by the way, how are you growing right now in your consistency?
Wow.
Because successful people do consistently what unsuccessful people do occasionally. How are you doing on that? How are you doing in growing your capacity? How are you doing in growing your ability to make people feel honored and respected and celebrated in your life? Just in your life right now, the only way to improve the quality of your life is for you to grow personally. Second, I'm going to have to move fast. Second is do it now. I'm going to beg you right now. It's on the East Coast time right now. It's 9:16. Right now, mark it down, 9:16, 8:16, 7:16, wherever you are around the world. Can I tell you? Write it down. I'm starting right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's right.
Everybody that's ever done anything great in this world started from somewhere.
Wow.
Now you can judge yourself. You can measure yourself. You can get lost in what I just talked about and said, oh my God, I can't take this call. I can't do this because my life is such a... You can do that if you want to. I'm going to beg you not to. This was not to make you feel guilty or shameful. This was to empower you, to motivate you, and to inspire you to say, I'm going to step in and I'm going to do it right now. Why? Because procrastination is one of the greatest defeating behaviors of anybody's life. Someday is no day. So homework, what are 5 things that you need to do right now? Right now. Write them down. I need to do this right now. Why? Because whatever you put off will be easier and easier and easier for you not to do.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, you're going to have reasons and not results. That's not who we're going to be, man. So I want to encourage you right now. I have men all across the country, outside of the country, that right now, tonight, got 5. Some of you got 10. Some of you got up to 30. Some of you got even more than that. And guess what? So that I wouldn't come tonight and tell you to do what I'm not doing. If you looked around right now, I invited people tonight. I said, hey, just stop over. It's amazing how many people will come if you will just invite. Everybody's looking for an invitation. When? Right now. Elevate this year will be 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of April. Let me say it one more time. Elevate will be 22nd, 23rd, 24th of April. It's a leadership conference. The whole theme this year is going to be on the power of together. 2 are better than 1 because they get a greater return for their work. If 1 can put 1,000 to flight, 2 can put 10,000 to flight. Men, listen to me right now. One of the things you've got to break this year is trying to do life alone.
Wow.
Don't go alone. Ladies, don't go alone if you're on this call. I'm begging you right now, come to Orlando. It's going to be cray-cray. And your decision right now should not be, am I going to go or not?
Yeah. Wow.
That's not the decision.
Come on.
That's yesterday, no growing decision. The decision is how many people am I going to take with me? Can I tell you what you're going to do? About an hour into the program, you're going to be going, why did I not bring more people? So, here's what I can tell you. Most people never get in their tomorrows because they can't get out of their yesterdays. So I just want to encourage you not to do that. Every person who has grown started from somewhere. So I want to ask you right now, I've got to move now, okay? I'm going to ask you to set it as a priority. Do it now. If you're not doing this already, I want you to do this. Every day of your life, have 2 lists. Things I've got to do and people I need to call. Things I've got to do and people I've got to call. And check off as many as you can. And the next day, if you didn't get it done, move it up there and get it done. So I want to tell you, it's not something that you're going to do someday that's going to matter most. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
It's not what you're going to do someday, man, that's going to matter most. It's not loving your wife someday. It's not loving your children someday. It's not making this your greatest year, your greatest week. It's not. It's right now.
Yeah.
It's right now. So I want to encourage you, do it right now. The third thing is stay humble. If you're going to finish strong, stay humble. Stay humble. By the way, humility is a choice.
Yeah.
You just have to decide it. You can decide to be arrogant. You can decide in your life not to be teachable. I can too. I want to tell you this, it's what you learn after you've learned it all that's going to matter most. So, wow, what a disease it is when I have an unteachable spirit. You know what I'm talking about. I have to be right. It has to be my way. You see, a lot of people believe that leadership is having it your way and you're being right and everybody else being kind of ignorant. That's not leadership. That's dictatorship. So I want to encourage you to step into leadership, which means I do the right thing at the right time for the right reason in the right way. I do the right thing at the right time and for the right reason in the right way. So in your life right now, pride is a terrible condition. And so I want you to know, if you're wondering, am I prideful? Because most people that are prideful don't know they're prideful. The way you know you're prideful is that you have to know everything. You have to be everything. You have to be right at everything. You have to have it your way. And you cannot be happy for other people's success. Pride. You have to dominate every conversation. And leaders, I just want to tell you right now, if you're humble, you're going to be listening way more than you're talking.
Yeah.
Come on.
I have people that will spend big money and they'll come and sit with me because they want to coach with me. And as they're sitting with me, I'm amazed at how many of them tell me the answer. And I just listen. And after about 2 hours, we get up and I go, I hope that was as good for you as it was for me. If I knew you were going to come and tell me how right you are and everything you know, and you were going to direct me, it's so amazing how our insecurities cause us to not be teachable, but we want to teach what we're not doing. We want to teach what we read in a book. We want to teach what I don't know. And let me tell you the day that we're in trouble. My name is PT. I love you. That's the day when you and I think because we know it, we're doing it.
Wow.
Wow.
There's such a difference between knowing and doing. And I want to remind you, men, tonight, knowing gets you nothing. I have men in my life right now. Can I just be very vulnerable with you and transparent with you? They can't even get on this call because they're afraid that they're going to be exposed in their weakness. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, if I have a weakness, I want to know it. Do you know why? Because a weakness can turn into a wicked way really quickly. It's okay to have weaknesses, but it's not okay when it shifts into destructive behavior, not only to you, but to all of us. So I want to encourage you to understand that when you stop growing, you stop leading. And some of you right now could be doing 4 times what you're doing, but you're just so convinced in your own mind you know what you're doing. Now, I'm not trying to make you insecure, and I'm not telling you just to talk to anybody. If I could encourage you to do anything tonight, I would beg you to stop talking to too many people.
Wow.
You get too many voices in your heads with too many opinions. you're going to be done. Matter of fact, a lot of you will call me and say, hey, will you give me counseling? And I'm not really big on counseling anymore. I love coaching. But one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is, who are you talking to right now? And if you're paying somebody, I don't think you need to be talking to me. You need to go talk to them. Why? Because they're leading you from a certain level. And when you talk to me, I'm going to talk to you at a totally and completely different level. So I just want to beg you. So let me just close this point by saying this. Please don't fight the teacher. Especially when the teacher has the fruit that you desperately want.
Wow.
Okay. Number 4 is I want to encourage you to focus on self-growth, not self-fulfillment.
Wow.
What are you saying, Tim? I see so many of us choosing comfort over calling, and choosing comfort over character, and choosing pleasure over purpose. Growing is not always comfortable. And so many times in life, isn't it true, man? Isn't it easy to stay in the boxes that we're good at? Matter of fact, some of you, now you're going to get mad at me for a minute. Don't, please, my name's PT. I love you, okay? But some of you, because it starts getting rough, you leave the rough place, the growth place, the stretching place, the place where everything hasn't gone perfect, and you go to the play box because you feel like you can win there. I have no judgment. I've had to learn in my life how to play. I really have. I'm not very good at it. I have a lot of men in my life that I really honestly, I can't tell you how much I jones. I covet the fact that they know how to play. I never had that luxury early in my life, so I had to learn how to work. And so in my life, if you're not careful, now listen to me because I'm talking to the workaholics. Just because you're working doesn't mean you're being productive. And just because you're playing doesn't mean that you're making the pain go away. Self-fulfillment is about feeling good. Just do what feels good. And some of us on the call tonight, because we have a great calling on our life, we've got to learn how to leave that space to get where we need to be. I just want to challenge you tonight. In the area of self-growth, not self-fulfillment, delayed gratification is everything. But I do have a question for you on this one right here. At the end of this month, will your calendar and pocketbook show more where you played or more where you have been productive? Will your wife be more fulfilled or will she be more empty? Will your children have grown with you? Can I ask you a question, men? Do you tolerate ideas and philosophies and behaviors and people around you because you don't have the capacity to step up and say, hey, we've got to live and lead at a whole nother level? I'm not talking about judging people. But at some point in time, we've got to step out of mediocrity into greatness.
Wow.
I just encourage you. 5. I got to close because I'm gonna close in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready? The last one is just don't get satisfied.
Wow.
Don't get satisfied with where you are. Don't get satisfied with what you have. Don't get satisfied with what you're giving. Don't get satisfied in your life. The greatest enemy to future success is today's success. Some of you, you have a great day and you're going, oh, I can go sit down. Some of you make $1,000 and you sit down. Some of you make $100 and you sit down. I want to beg you, watch out for complacency. We're going to grow, but don't get caught up in your own press clippings, where you hear yourself telling you how great you are. Here's what I've noticed as I close, okay? Anytime a great warrior leader has a great success, they celebrate it for about 3 minutes. That was great. That was awesome. And they normally give the credit away to other people. By the way, this is very healthy. And then they say, what is our next goal? What is our next goal? I don't think anything breaks my heart more. And sometimes when I sit down with men and they tell me about their high school days and their college days and their yesterdays, and it's as if their greatest days were then. Oh, I got this trophy then. On this call, man, I'm going to ask you, I challenge you, I really do. I challenge you to get at least 5 to 10 men in your living room with you, in your school, wherever you are. Do not come alone. I want to grow in that area. Where is the area right now where you are satisfied and you now need to step in to not being satisfied any longer? Hey, what an honor being with you. I do want to tell you, can I tell you some other things? If you're in the Orlando area, February 19th, men, we will have G5 Ladies Night, okay? And February 19th is my birthday, so hey. Anyhow, I'm pretty fired up about that. Going to be 32, and I'm very fired up about that. And I will do a small men's leadership, and that's always fun. And the next men's call will be February 21st. Can I challenge you? I'm going to work. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. New Jersey, guess what I'm going to do? Ohio, guess what I'm going to do? Salt Lake, guess what I'm going to be doing? Texas, guess what I'm going to be doing? Canada, guess what I'm going to be doing? Paris, guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be inviting 10 new men that I've never invited before.
Right.
And I want you to join me in that. Elevate is 22nd, 23rd, 24th of April. Let's grow. This is going to be your biggest, best, baddest, craziest year ever. Finish strong by taking these principles and let's apply it. Charge. Game on.